Hi guys. Okay, so I was just looking through some of the new documents that were released, and right now I'm looking at the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office summary. Um, there's a bunch of strangeness in here. Like I said, I'm just now looking at this, so I have not gotten to dig into this and see what all this stuff means, but there's some things in here that I have questions about. Page 2, there's a whole list of what looks like possible people to talk to, question maybe. But then on page 2, we get to someone's name who is blacked out, their address blacked out, their information blacked out, birth date blacked out. It's a confidential informant. All we can really see is that it's a female, and it looks like the age is 42. I don't know who this would be or what this confidential informant would have possibly told anyone or what they have to do with it. Who is this? Interesting. Also, if you scroll down just a little bit on the same page, on page 2, it lists the suspects, Stephen and Brendan, and then right underneath, the victim, Teresa Marie Hallbeck. And then there's a second victim. It says Society. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know what this means. Society is a victim. I am not really sure what this is supposed to mean. And then it goes into witnesses. Of course, there's Pam and Nicole. I could see how they might be witnesses since they found the car. Josh Radant, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. He could have been a witness because he was out on the property on the 5th, the day they found the car. Later on, we'll get into where he told someone there at the command center that he saw a big fire. So I don't know what he's doing on the property that day, but he is one of the people on the sign in, sign out sheet, along with another guy. And then we've got George Zipper as a witness. What did George Zipper witness? Now, if this is, Teresa's appointments or something, I could see that, but where's her first appointment for the day? Why is he not a witness? And why also is Stephen Avery not listed as a witness? If that's the case, I don't understand what all this is here. All right, so let's go on to page 3. This is some crazy shit. And I know Casey has already said this in one of her videos, but I'm going to have to say it again. What the fuck? It says right here on page 3 of this, Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office summary. Evidence seized. Toyota, RAV4, dark green, utility. On November 3rd. Evidence seized on November 3rd. Teresa's car. What is that about? Interesting. I don't know what this is about. It would be really nice to know. But if her car was actually found on November 3rd, that Colburn call makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? All right, let's go to page 4. So, Remiker goes out to talk with George Zipper. So he has a conversation with George and Jason Zipper. And then at some point they start trying to talk to Mrs. Zipper, who's inside the residence, like talking out a window at them. Like she won't let them in. George and Jason come outside to talk to them, and Joellen is inside in a window talking with them. And she can't remember. Let's see, I'm going to just read this right off the report. Sorry, I don't have any of this marked because it's like... There we go. A short time later, Joellen came to a window. I asked Joellen several questions about Teresa calling to their residence and coming to their residence for a photograph. Joellen had a lot of difficulty determining what date and time of day Teresa was on her property to take the photograph. Joellen was not even able to determine what day of the week it was currently. There we go. She seems like a very unreliable witness. What's that about? We're talking, this would have happened on November 3rd, I believe. November 3rd, when they went to talk with George. So we're talking just 3 or 4 days later. She can't remember what day or time Teresa came out. She didn't even know what day it is currently. That's a little weird, I think. Very weird. Of course, later, I guess her memory got better. Conveniently, right? All right. Page 8. This is interesting, to say the least. Let's see. November 5th, 2005, at 15:12 hours, the following persons approached the vehicle and placed 2 brand new blue tarps over the vehicle. Detective Jacobs from MTSO, Thomas Fassbender from DCI, Alan Hunsader from DCI, Sergeant Tyson from CASO, Gary Steer from CASO, and Deputy Jennifer Bass from CASO. After covering the vehicle, all aforementioned subjects left the immediate area except for Deputy Bass. She remained with the vehicle for security reasons. Now, Deputy Bass, isn't this the same one that was burning the uniform? Just saying. A little weird. I don't like that she's left there by herself with the car, and now she's doing, burning crosses and dummies and stuff with the uniforms and writing the names and stuff on there. Something's really weird about that. That's Wendy Baldwin's buddy, I guess. So let's see, page 9. Remaker was walking the driveway near Stephen Avery's residence and detached garage area. Upon checking that area, I located within approximately 25 feet of the maroon van parked near the driveway a portion of some eyeglasses. I located 2 separate locations where I located the broken eyeglasses, along with a plastic earpiece part in the driveway. These items were marked with evidence flags and were later retrieved at approximately 17:30 hours by CASO Deputy Dan Kacharski and me. I never heard anything else about these. Now, I don't know who they turned out to belong to, but I never heard anything about this before, just now. Never heard anything about glasses or an earpiece, who they belong to. Nothing about that. I've never seen them in the evidence. Nothing. All right, page 10. Page 10. There we go. Oh, good grief. There we go. I, Detective Remaker, located a car key which was located on a portable bar between the kitchen and living room area of the residence. This was taken as possible evidence. This was on November 5th at 21:52 hours. So I've seen in the evidence list a set of keys, another single key, and then, of course, Teresa's key. Now, this might be the other single key, but I don't, there's nothing, there's nothing talking about what this key ended up being, going to, whether it was in the evidence list or whatever. I don't know what that key went to or what they ended up doing with it, if it was anything important or not, whether it was possibly Teresa's key. I don't know. It doesn't say. Just thought it was interesting. All right, so page 11. Page 11. On the right page here. There we go. Page 11. Upon inspection of a Suzuki Samurai truck parked inside the garage, I located what appeared to be a smeared latent fingerprint on the rear window portion of the vehicle. Dried red substance was located directly below the rear door area of the vehicle, so below the door area. It was decided to remove the entire back door and glass window portion of the vehicle for further processing. Now, why would you take the whole door? Why not just take the whole car? If you think you found a print, some blood, especially if the blood was underneath where the door was, why take the door? I don't understand that at all. My dad used to have a Suzuki Samurai, an old one. I don't even know like what year or whatever, but I don't. First of all, I don't think that's an easy thing to do. Just take the whole door off. It probably would have been easier just to hitch it up and take the whole thing. But okay, whatever. Alrighty, moving on. Page 12. Let's see, on November 7th, at 8:10 hours, I, Sergeant Orth, received an anonymous call in the shift commander's office at the MTSO. The female caller informed me that Roland Johnson owns the trailer Stephen Avery resides in. I was informed that Stephen occasionally talks to Roland, therefore investigators may want to interview him. The caller stated she does not have any reason to believe that Roland has helpful information. However, she thought we should have the homeowner's information for possible follow-up. I was informed that Roland resides in Jackson, Wisconsin. His cell phone number is blah. I passed this information on to DCI Agent Thomas. First of all, is this another like anonymous person? Because so far that's like 2 anonymous women calling to give information. And then now we're on page 13, and here we go again with another anonymous informant lady. November 7th, 2005, 11:45 hours, I, Sergeant Orth, received a call from TRPD Lieutenant John Reimer. Lieutenant Reimer stated he was contacted by, it's blacked out, who is one of his informants. Name is blacked out. It's a short name, by the way. A very short name. Just saying. Apparently stated that Stephen Avery has 2 incinerators on the property in question and that investigators should check those areas. I, Sergeant Orth, made a phone contact with blacked out name. Blacked out name again. Had no reason to believe that anything was in the incinerators, however. She felt it would be a good place to check. Blacked out name added that she does not feel anyone could have drove the vehicle in question onto the property in question without Charles Avery or any other Avery family member noticing. I thanked blacked out name for her information and the phone call was ended. The information received from blacked out name was passed on to Lieutenant Herman. Lieutenant Herman informed me that the DCI is already aware of both the incinerators. So Is this another confidential informant? That's not. Is this the one that's listed up on page 2, or is this another confidential informant? There's a lot of people doing some talking around here and there. Just saying, there's a lot of stuff going on. All right, page 15. Ah, yes, this is where we're talking about the bones being found. This is Sergeant Jost. He said, earlier when I had been in the command post area, I remembered someone mentioning that Joshua Radant had checked on his hunting trailers on Monday evening, October 31st. He saw there was a large fire burning near Stephen Avery's property. The fire was described as being larger than usual. So Sergeant Jost, started piecing all this information together. I felt this area, if not already looked at, should be checked for any type of evidence. So he goes on to pass this information along that someone should probably look at this, since while he was standing there, he remembered that someone had mentioned a fire. So he says, as we were looking at the ashes laying in the area, it was evident that someone used some type of front-end loader to remove ground from this particular location, I imagine to make the burn pit. The ashes were inside this area. As we looked at the ash pile, we observed that there was a bone laying near the south side of the pile on the east side. Without disturbing the bone, I looked at it as closely as I could. It appeared as though it may have been a vertebrae bone. I could see another bone in the pile. At this time, we decided that someone from the crime lab or DCI needed to further investigate the area. So then a short time later, I believe it was Tom Sturdivant from DCI, who walked over to the burn pit with one of his female partners. Utilizing a small twig that was present, Tom moved the bone mentioned above. Without touching it, it still appeared to be some type of vertebrae bone. Well, you can't move it without touching it. You touch it with the twig, so he moved it. He moved some of the steel belting wires which were located on the east side of the burn pile, and found there appeared to be several other items which appeared to be burns. It says burns. I imagine burned. One piece appeared to be in the shape of a part of a skull. So then that was when they decided to go and let the crime lab guy, John Ertl, know what they had found after they had already been poking and moving stuff around in there, mixing things up. Yeah. So, of course, we've already talked about that. That's not how you go through bones. You see a bone, you can clearly see it without touching anything. That is where you go and get the crime lab guy and say, hey, look, there's a bone. When no one's touched anything, let them do their thing. Let them photograph, take video, mark it off, square it off, do what they got to do, because you should not be touching anything. And I don't know what this DCI guy was thinking when he wanted to poke at it with a stick. Stupid evidence. Come on. You poke evidence with a stick. All right. All right. Now here's another thing. DCI agent Lewis requested that an MTSO officer assist him with locating Marie Littersky. Agent Lewis needed to contact Marie for an interview. I was assigned to Agent Lewis. Sergeant Orth, along with Agent Lewis, originally proceeded to Marie Littersky's parents' residence. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then they go to where she works. They got her cell phone number. and they made phone contact with her. She stated officers could respond to her residence, and Agent Lewis and I, being Sergeant Orth and Lewis, met her at her residence. She had agreed to accompany the officers to TRPD for an interview. Marie did follow the officers to TRPD. Agent Lewis interviewed Marie within an interview room at the TRPD. Per Agent Lewis' request, I witnessed the interview. The questioning primarily revolved around 2 cell phone calls that Stephen Avery made to her. See Agent Lewis's report for further details. Reference his interview. I don't see that anywhere. So this is one of those things that we don't have yet. So what I'd like to know, this is on November 8th. So 3 days after the car was found. What were they doing? Like, why were they calling her? What would she possibly have had to share with them about phone calls Stephen made to her? How could that possibly have anything to do with Teresa? I don't understand what this is all about. So, you know, I mean, I have heard her name. I know that she was interviewed. It is in a list of, I believe it's the Calumet County evidence list, that there is an interview and I believe a map drawn by her, something like that. But those things have not been released, so I don't know what's in them. I don't know what they talked to her about. I don't know what she has to do with any of this just yet, but I thought it was interesting, because she's really the only person that's named that they wanted to go and talk with. So it could be something. Anyway, yeah, just wanted to make a quick video on this, and gonna check out some of the other new documents and see what we can find in those. Thanks for watching.